In a couple of minutes we'll get the lights in, but it can be interesting also here to be when the dark is inside. That's just the natural lights I'm getting inside right now. So I can start giving the story. Guys, welcome to Roman Well. One more interesting underground place in Belgrade, very mysterious place as well. So the place where we are now is definitely interesting, but the most important part of the Roman Well is exactly there where the fence is, where the platform is. When we take a look at the well, that will be very interesting. But guys, this is the place which I picked up for the historical story, and then we go slowly there to see how the Roman Well looks like. So guys, I told you that the place where we are now was built during big Baroque reconstruction of Belgrade fortress during a long historical Austrian period from 1717 to 1739. But this place was built in for those 14 years at the beginning of their reign here from 1717 to 1731. Austrians were digging, guys, in the underground of Belgrade fortress through the very heavy limestones to try to find the natural spring of the water. Why to try to find the natural spring of the water, guys? Because the water is one of the most important sources for normal life of people. So you can imagine, especially medieval ages, if the Austrians had a big fortress around, the big defensive walls, a lot of army, the only one way how they could defend themselves against their enemies, and the enemies were probably on the Sava and the Danube rivers around, the only one way to defend yourself is definitely if you have the water to drink every day, to give to your soldiers and everyone else who is very important for your city. That's why, guys, they decided to dig in the underground of Belgrade to try to find that natural spring of the water. So guys, the Austrians were digging constantly around the 14 years, slowly through Belgrade limestone. So they dug 60 meters. So guys, the depth of this well is 60 meters, and they didn't find water. Very interesting, but where they were very disappointed. Oh my God, we spent 14 years, didn't find the water here. But that's Austrian German mentality. People always try to be better. People always try to be stronger. That's why they got even new idea. New idea of the Austrians was even to connect the bottom of the well with the Sava River, and the Sava River is around 200 meters from here, one horizontal line. And that's why Austrians tried to dig toward the Sava River, but they were digging, but just they dug 2 meters, guys. They dug just 2 meters, and after that they stopped construction. Were again one more time disappointed, but guys, they stopped it just after 2 meters because the limestone in some parts of Belgrade underground are very heavy, very compact. So it was very hard to dig through the underground there if you don't have any machines, so it's just a human hands. That's why, guys, this place here is not well, because there is no water which is natural inside. You will see later real water there, but it's not natural water. You can see after rainy days the water drops from the ceiling here exactly around us. So that's actually how the water goes down toward the well, through the bricks, through the holes between the bricks, and that's how you will see that the water is quite active somewhere there. And that's the reason why the place is not well, because the water in the well is always the natural water. And I have to tell you one more story why the place is not Roman. Definitely you got the argument. I told you who built this place, Austrians during the Baroque reconstruction of the fortress. But interesting story why the place is called the Roman Well. Guys, the Serbs lost the Belgrade fortress in 1427, and 1427 was the last year of Serbian reign in Belgrade in medieval ages, and the first time after that the Serbs were free here on the fortress when they conquered Belgrade during the first Serbian uprising against the Ottoman Empire at the end of 1806, at the beginning of 1807. And then you can imagine the Serbian army, Serbian people were running around the fortress to explore the fortress, to try to find good things there and everything. In one moment Serbian army arrived here, and then they got to this place, and my God, they were running around and they were saying, "Oh, it's a very old place, we didn't know anything, it's a very old place, we didn't know anything, it must be Roman, it must be Roman, it must be Roman, it must be Roman." And that's actually how the name appeared. So the Serbs arrived, didn't know the origin of this place, and very interesting people who used to say for everything of forgotten origin, Roman, 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 and that's how the name appeared, and they called it a Roman well. That's why, guys, it's Roman, but on the old Austrian maps of the city, it's never written Roman, it's written Great Well. So official name of this place is a Great Well, guys. And one more story before we go there to see the platform, guys, is that The depth is 60 meters, guys, but the water starts after 35. So extra at the end, there are 25 meters of the depth of the water. And then if you want to go down to take the water from the well, so you will go around the well, because both the sides, the left and the right side, there are 208 circular stairs around. So 208 circular stairs around. One way goes down, so you go down like this, couple of minutes, and then you will take the water. But if you want to go up here, you don't use the same stairs. Why? Because there is one 20 meters long semicircle tunnel at the end there, and you get to the other side, and then from the other side you use 208 different stairs in a different direction. Why is that so confused like that? It is because of their plan many years ago. If you go down with your maybe donkey or horse, so the tunnel is not so big to host the two horses in two different ways. That's why one way with a horse goes down, and then horse goes through the tunnel, and then the other way goes up. So definitely very important story. And also Austrians had even construction, how they were taking the water from the well, and then the next place, the next room there was the place where they really had that water from the well. But the water here, guys, is not the natural water. I told you the water drops from the ceiling after melting of the snow in rainy days. And one more paradox of this place and the Belgrade as well is the depth of the well here is even deeper than the Sava River. So Sava River is here, the depth of the well is here, and again the water doesn't come from the Sava River because of the waterproof limestones around. So it's not what I'm saying to you, it's actually what the geologists proved. So the water which we will see there is not coming from the Sava River, which is around 200 meters from here. This was, guys, that very important story, but now we can go around these walls, pillars, big ones, and we should be there on the platform. That will be very important. So you can take the photos. Very interesting, unique place in Belgrade, in the whole southeast of Europe. But just to take care about your cameras, if you drop the camera, there is no your camera more. So let's go around. So the water starts after 35 meters underneath us, then 25 meters more water. Me, personally, I was lucky because I work as a tour guide. So last year when they opened this place, they called me and we went together. I went together with one authority from the fortress, went down, and I was exactly there where the water starts. So it was nothing so, I don't know, bad. It was actually very interesting to be in the place which is around 300 years old. But you can notice now after, the dropping of the water constantly from the ceiling, and humidity is very high here. But you can imagine how humidity is high just a couple of meters down. All bricks are very wet around, and the water constantly drops. So you could imagine how I felt when every 3-4 seconds the water was dropping, and it's a cold water. But definitely it was very interesting to be inside. We are not allowed to go down. Why? Because we all make the big noise and maybe small earthquake for this place. That's why we are just here. All of these small holes, they are for ventilation. One more argument which shows us that the place is an Austrian place. It's a brick, so you can see bricks, and bricks were introduced in the fortress here during that big part of reconstruction after 1717. Before that, almost always fortress was white stones from underground, white fortress, white city.